looks like Blake Lively's love affair with the Hollywood Reporter might have ended this weekend, as her reaction to that article is unreal. But what's even more crazy is the fact that the Hollywood Reporter got exposed this weekend for changing its article multiple times and then blaming a technical glitch when they got called out.
Somebody is not a fan of the truth getting out there. I'm a fan of the truth. Or at least hearing all sides. And the more you know, the more perspective, context, and full understanding you could hopefully achieve.
Well, it looks like Blake Lively is furious about the Hollywood Reporter cover that came out yesterday. I think we've all seen the cover. Blake even had one of her representatives make a public statement about the cover. And wait until you guys hear what this representative said.
The litigation war between Justin Baldoni and Blake Lively has reached a boiling point, with Baldoni striking a series of legal punches that have surprised Hollywood. What began as a passionate dispute has developed into a full-fledged litigation. Meltdown for Blake, complete with leaked film, unforeseen legal twists, and a swelling list of contradictions in his charges. Baldoni is turning the tables, and the courtroom is getting heated. How did this all happen? Why is Blake's legal team panicked? And how did Baldoni damage Blake's case so completely?
And while obviously blaming his religion, it doesn't excuse Blake's, behavior, which I was never trying to imply. I did see it as a little bit of an out that could potentially help her and her team try to use. And obviously not everyone's going to accept, but man, she's not going to take it. She's not at all going to accept that theory because of course she's not. And instead she slammed the entire cover for being sexist.
The first major blow came when Justin Baldoni's legal team presented footage that utterly contradicted Blake Lively's earlier comments. This unexpected revelation caused Blake's lawyers to amend their claim in a frantic quest to recover. Legal. Experts pointed out that the tape showed behind-the-scenes moments, showing that Blake's claims were not as solid as she had claimed. The last-minute revisions to Blake's complaint came across as reactionary, eroding her credibility and giving Baldoni an advantage.
Lampooning her article. So the statement says, in addition, let me start at the beginning here. Here's the statement. It says, the framing in this picture is outrageously insulting as it plays into every sexist trope about women who dare to file a workplace complaint, turning them into the aggressor and suggesting they deserve the retaliation that comes their way. In addition, the story is extremely offensive as it incredibly seems to explain away documented examples of SH and retaliation by calling them cultural misunderstandings. This statement from her is unbelievable. This woman is the most tone deaf and ridiculous. I can't even.
What is problematic about this? Well, let me tell you what the former Keeper of Dragons thinks. The framing in this picture is outrageously insulting as it plays into every sexist trope about women who dare file a workplace complaint, turning them into the aggressor and suggesting they deserve the retaliation that comes their way. Delulu Lively knows exactly what she's doing.
Just when it seemed the case couldn't be any more dramatic, a shocking twist was disclosed. Both legal teams provided conflicting evidence, but Baldoni's attorneys offered more thorough paperwork and stronger witness testimony. Blake's attempts to rebut the evidence were ineffective, with courtroom sources remarking that her team appeared considerably shaken. This turning point not only boosted Baldoni's stance, but it also raised public scrutiny of Blake's legal practices.
Yesterday, I told you all that the Hollywood Reporter shared what I think is one of the most important reads to help us understand what truly happened on the set of their movie. But Bossy Blake is not a fan of the piece. In fact, the expert in taking zero accountability is attacking the respected Hollywood trade publication. A rep for the aspiring lawyer who has taken authorship of her court case has said, quote, "The Hollywood Reporter should be ashamed of itself." Not only do they take issue with the article itself, but also with the image used to promote the latest issue. They've got it on the cover, and it looks like this. Bum, bum, bum. Blake versus Baldoni, an exclusive look behind the battle lines of Hollywood's uncivil war.
Things grew worse when Blake rejected to be deposed by Baldoni's legal team, arguing that the lawyer's tough questioning method was too cruel. Her reticence aroused eyebrows, with many interpreting it as an attempt to avoid confronting harsh truths under oath. Judicial experts condemned the decision, stressing that declining to participate in regular judicial proceedings rarely ends well for the party under pressure.
Yesterday, The Hollywood Reporter dropped this insane cover. Blake vs. Baldoni, an exclusive look behind the battle lines of Hollywood's uncivil war. Clearly, there's a lot going on in this cover. When I saw this cover, I knew that Blake Lively was going to be upset, but I didn't expect her to comment on it so publicly. A spokesperson for Blake Lively said The Hollywood Reporter should be ashamed of itself. The framing of this picture is outrageously insulting as it plays into every sexist trope about a woman who dare file a workplace complaint, turning them into the aggressor and suggesting they deserve the retaliation that comes their way.
Blake's team filed new court documents in an attempt to regain momentum, but they did not produce the smoking evidence that her supporters expected. While the documents confirmed previous accusations, they lacked precise evidence, making it impossible for Blake's legal team to effectively substantiate their claims. This absence of actual evidence raised skepticism, hurting their case in court. The lack of compelling new information helped Baldoni's side to preserve their lead.
Soon-to-be former actress thinks that she is smarter than us. I hate to break it to you, Nepo baby, but we are not dumb. Most people can clearly see that this is a reference to David versus Goliath. I think The Hollywood Reporter has been watching my videos or any of the interviews where I've spoken about this, and I've repeatedly compared it to a modern day David versus Goliath. Just imagine her husband right behind her head.
We need to talk about the symbolism in the Hollywood Reporter cover that is clearly referencing the Justin Baldoni and Blake Lively lawsuit drama. This is insane. I have no idea how I feel about it, but let's talk about the symbolism. Let's start with the flower petals ricocheting off Blake Lively. I believe this is in reference to Blake Lively promoting the film as a fun summer movie, telling people to wear their florals. Now, the phone that Blake Lively has in the cartoon in a slingshot pointed at Justin Baldoni. I believe that this is in reference to Blake Lively claiming that Justin Baldoni started a smear campaign against her on social media. Now, Justin Baldoni holding the book. This could mean two things. One could be that Justin Baldoni's studio owns the rights to the books and Blake allegedly wants the rights.
Perhaps the most agonizing moment happened when Baldoni's legal team pointed out discrepancies in Blake's allegations by cross-referencing her past interviews, on-set agreements, and legal filings. Baldoni highlighted how Blake's allegations had evolved in suspicious ways over time. Observers in the courtroom observed how obviously anxious Blake's legal team appeared as Baldoni's lawyers combed through the contradictions.
Now, Baldoni's lawsuit is 179 pages, so in case you don't have time to read through it all, I want to read you a direct quote from the complaint that essentially summarizes everything that Baldoni is alleging. He says, "Lively wields immense power as one of the world's best-known celebrities. She set out to destroy plaintiffs' livelihoods and businesses if they did not bend to her incessant demands, and when they refused to give way, she did exactly that, accusing them of foul and reprehensible sexual misconduct." Now, I reached out to Baldoni's attorney, who tells me that they have copious amounts of text messages and emails and other evidence that they say proves that Baldoni did nothing wrong. I reached out to a representative for Blake and Ryan. They have not responded yet.
We're going to be talking all things Blake Lively and her legal complaint that she's filed against her It Ends With Us co-star Justin Baldoni. Yes, the It Ends With Us movie drama does in fact not end. What's interesting about this story to me is the Justin Baldoni of it all. He is a self-proclaimed male feminist. He's woke. He speaks out against sexual assault and sexual harassment, even toxic masculinity. And now in this legal complaint filed by Blake Lively, he's being accused of sexual harassment.
I challenge you to see if you can use the same qualities that you feel make you a man to go deeper into yourself. And will you be man enough to stand up to other men when you hear locker room talk, when you hear stories of sexual harassment, when you hear your boys talking about grabbing ass or getting her drunk? Will you actually stand up and do something so that one day we don't have to live in a world where a woman has to risk everything and come forward to say the words "me too"?
This is going to be really awkward if these allegations are true. I will say, just for the record, I'm not a fan of either of these individuals, and something about both of them rubs me the wrong.
Why has this judicial conflict lasted on so long? According to individuals close to the subject, Blake is still firm about not settling. She appears confident in her abilities to outmaneuver Baldoni with her ways, feeling that time is on her side. However, as the days advance into weeks, it becomes evident that Baldoni's obsessive search of the truth.
So Blake Lively came out, or her team came out and criticized the article that was basically about how Justin Baldoni's faith, Baha'i, had something to do with people feeling uncomfortable on set.
And also it was a big misunderstanding.
Yeah.
Maybe they said.
Yeah. But then her team came out and they criticized the cover for being sexist, basically. And now...
And kind of making fun of the whole situation. Right?
Yeah. Well, yeah, there was a lot of criticism out there about that cover. Did they make fun of it?
I think that was one of the there was some
that
of
they
the
were mocking it.
Yeah, sort of like not taking her accusations
just like Ryan Reynolds did on SNL.
With momentum clearly on Baldoni's side, Blake now stands a tough crossroads in her legal battle. She must decide whether to continue fighting what many perceive as an uphill struggle, or to take a step back and focus on rebuilding her public image, which has suffered tremendously as a result of these actions. Legal watchers feel that unless Blake's legal team can present convincing new evidence, something substantial that shifts the narrative in her favor, the chances of overcoming Baldoni's courtroom dominance are remote. The upcoming hearings will surely be critical, acting as a potential watershed point for both parties. However, based on prior trends and outcomes in this instance, Baldoni appears to be nearly unstoppable due to her strategic brilliance and imposing presence. Observers are watching Blake intently to see how she handles this high-stakes situation, as her every move may either shift the direction of the case or cement Baldoni's victory.